Merry Christmas and Happy New Year from Sandyland. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I had a wonderful Christmas and it was just amazing to spend time with family and friends and have just celebrations and all kinds of really exciting stuff. And now we're in the spot where it's between Christmas and New Year's, and it's my favorite time of the year because we have all the nonsense done, like packing and shopping and all that stuff that it's kind of not my world, because to me Christmas isn't about gifts, it's about being with people and just spending and building meaningful memories with your friends and family. And so that's what happens between Christmas and New Year's. And also between Christmas and New Year's is a time when we start to think about, we've got a whole year coming, 2018, and what is that going to look like? What are we going to do in 2018 that we haven't done before? And how are we going to stay committed to the things that we want to happen? How are we going to make it an amazing year so that when we come to the end of the year and we look back on all that we did that year, we're like, yeah, I accomplished the things I wanted to do. I stayed on track. I made my dreams come true. And I'm going to have an epic 2018. Here's Peanut Butter. I don't know what it is about him, but he always likes to come to the broadcast. So he's with us again today. Hi, Peanut Butter. You want to say hi to everybody? Yeah? Come over here and say hi. You're a screen hog, aren't you? Come here. Sit down. Sit down. There we go. Okay, good boy. All right. So he made his weekly appearance. He loves to be on screen. I think he's kind of a stage hog. Right, Peanut Butter? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2018 because for the first 2 weeks right now, well, kind of part of 2017 and beginning 2018, I'm going to be giving you free lessons, free drawing lessons. And it's going to be super fun to be together. Peanut Butter always wants a kiss. Okay, kiss Mama. Good boy. And then we're going to learn some really cool stuff, like how to set yourself up for success in 2017 and how to make 2018 and how to make your dreams come true finally, and how to get out of that mediocre category that feels so awkward when you look at your work and you tried really hard and you couldn't make it, look just right. And so we're going to take you to a whole nother level in 2018, and I'm going to kind of pull back the curtain and show you what I have in store for everybody who wants to make their art dreams come true. And so I'm going to be talking about Pencil Drawing College, which is where we perfect our skills. And it's really important because every single form of art, whether it's fashion design or jewelry making or even sculpture or even quilting and painting and drawing and watercolors and airbrush and everything, you need to know how to draw. Because if you don't, your art will always feel a little wobbly, and people can look at your stuff and just know that it's not the best. And that's embarrassing and uncomfortable. And so we're going to talk about perfecting drawing skills, and I'm going to show you some really cool stuff over the next 2 weeks. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks and shortcuts that I use to make my art great and to help me win those awards and commissions and all the things that I always long to have happen. And so I'm going to kind of show you all those secrets that I learned when I was making my way to the top. So, but first today we're going to talk about something that's really important, and that is getting your head and your space ready. Because I literally spent this morning, that's why I was a few minutes late, I spent this whole morning cleaning my studio. Because if you don't have a clean head and a clean space, you end up being kind of chaotic in your approach to art. And I just believe that before you succeed, you need to build the framework that it's going to take for you to succeed. And so one thing on that framework is creating a clean space, a really organized space. And then the second thing is creating the mindset. So your mind needs to be ready for the art that you're going to receive. And you have to build success in your brain first. That's something that makes us really, really different in Sandyland. We're not just like all about how to, which pencil to use, which paper to use, what stroke to use. Yeah, we talk about that stuff, but we go way beyond that. And we teach you how you can actually build that success in your brain first. And then if that success has been built in your brain, it's going to manifest in your work. And if it's not, what's going to happen is you'll get all excited and you'll start 2018 with all this idea that you're going to be amazing and that you're going to practice every day. And by the second week, stuff is going to be entering your life that could compete with your dreams. And all of a sudden, you're going to see that if you don't have it fixed in your brain, if you don't have your brain set up to receive success and be committed to that success, then you're never going to succeed. You're always going to start and then stop. And then you're never going to get to the top the way you want to do. Oh, hi. Robert, you said you spent yesterday doing the same thing. Good for you. Yeah, cleaning your studio is a huge part of success. So I'm actually going to focus today on building the mindset that makes you successful. And then tomorrow I'm going to talk about what makes you successful in your studio. I'm going to show you some really cool stuff that you can use to become successful. I might even do it today. I'm just going to see how this goes. So anyway, so building your mind as success is huge. First of all, you have to make a decision that you're going to commit two things: the time and the money that you need in order to succeed. About 3 years ago, I hit a milestone in my birthdays. And I had some things on my bucket list that I hadn't done, and I realized I'm not getting younger. And so I better go do that now while I can still walk and do all these things and just enjoy it, and I sort of look okay in the pictures. And I need to make sure that I make those dreams come true before it's too late. I was sitting out at the ranch on Christmas, and all the kids decided to do a gift exchange. Instead of having to buy a $1 present for everybody at the dollar store, we decided to spend more money and give a really nice gift and then just do a gift exchange. And so all the kids had to be there. So all the kids came home with all their grandbabies, and it was just this amazing time. And I was looking at my cousin Rachel, and she was sitting there with her second baby on her lap. And she has a little boy named Liam, who I think is 2.5 now, or something, almost 3. And then her new baby is just a couple months old. I think his name is Lucas. I have trouble keeping track. What's wrong? Oh, she's got something. Toast is coming in here with something that she just stole. She's a cat burglar. And when she steals things, she likes to announce it, just kind of brag about it. You want to come up and be with us, Toast? Come here. You can come up and be with us. Okay, she's going to wait. So anyway, there we were sitting with all the kids, and Rachel was sitting with her 2-month-old second son on her lap, and I was thinking to myself, wow, it wasn't that long ago that Rachel was 2 months old. And I just didn't realize it was going to go so fast. I didn't realize that I was going to get older and I was going to be I'm in the same category as her parents. And so, in the grandparent category, I'll never be called a grandmother, but I'm creeping towards, the 3rd chapter of my life, and I better get it done. It's like, I don't necessarily have all the time in the world left to make my dreams come true. And so I set aside money that I had been saving over the years for something special. And I decided that I was going to make my dreams come true. The things that had been on my bucket list, I was just going to plow through those things that year and make it happen, because you never know. I mean, one of my friends, he was going to go to Italy. He was living right next door to Nita, who's 91 now. And he was going to go to Italy, and 1 month before he was supposed to leave, he was diagnosed with an aggressive brain cancer. And on the day he was supposed to leave for Italy, he died. And that sounds kind of morbid, but you know what? You don't know how long you have. And so I decided I was going to take that money that I'd been saving, and I was going to make my dream happen. But the second thing I had to commit was time, because I have a really busy schedule. I run an international company with students on 5 continents, and I have a lot of mouths to feed because of the people that work for me. And so I had to think about, how can I commit that time? How can I set aside that time for my dream to happen? And you know what? I did it. I set aside the money, and I set aside the time, and I can't remember ever having a better year. At the end of 2015, that was the year that I did it, I was just delirious, because I literally, between December and 25th and January 1st, I could literally say I had done everything that I wanted to do that year. I didn't say, oh, I don't have the time, oh, I don't have the money, oh, I can't make it happen, oh, this happened to me, so I have to cancel it. I didn't do that. I made my dreams come true. And as a result, I had an epic year. Epic. And it changed my life. It changed my life. And that was the same year that I hired my coach. My coach is the kind of guy who, I have a coach that's the mastermind, and then I have his assistants, this woman that helps me too to achieve my dreams. And every time I tried to kind of give an excuse or sidestep or not make it happen, they would be like, hey, you said this was going to happen. Don't waver, don't stop. And you know what? My whole life changed, because I started realizing I don't have as much time to spend as I used to. Like when I was 17, I had years and years and decades ahead of me, and I had a lot of time to spend. But now that I'm in my 3rd chapter, I mean, I hope I have another 35 years. Pretty sure I'm going to. But even 35 years goes by really fast, because my cousin Rachel is literally 30 years, or something like 29 or 30 years old, and I blinked and she was 30. And now, and I remember when I was holding her and she was 2 months, like her son. So it just goes like that. And if you don't make a decision at the beginning of the year, a full-on commitment, I am going to spend the time, I am going to spend the money, and I am not going to let life stop me, because things happened that could have stopped me from making those dreams come true. And so, but I didn't let them. I just kept committed to that and making that happen. And I always said yes. When I was asked, do you want to do this? I said yes. It's on my list. And I want to do it now while I can still chew, and I can walk, and I can see, and I can talk, and I can do all these things that you can still do at the beginning of your 3rd chapter, And so I just made a decision that I was going to do it. And my art just took off like a rocket. And my art village took off like a rocket. And the things the quality of my life just went, way up. Way up. It has been really a turning point in my life, because of making that one decision that I was going to give the time, and I was going to give the money, and I was going to use it to make those dreams come true. And I literally didn't say that. About 20 years earlier, I was offered an opportunity to go back to the Belgian Congo where I grew up. It was the Belgian Congo when I grew up there. Now they keep changing the name to Congo and Zaire, and it goes back and forth. And you literally cannot travel there. It's way too dangerous, and the infrastructure is all gone. So I cannot do that today. And back 20 years ago, it would have cost me $3,000 to do that, and I said no. It would cost me way more than that now, plus not to mention that I can't do it. It's not available anymore. And I don't know how much longer I'm going to do what I'm doing with all my students and stuff like that, because there's some really cool stuff that's on my horizon that I want to take my life to another level, even more higher than what I am now. And so I'm making a decision each year to take myself to a higher level. I remember when my home burned down during the San Diego fires. We had some fires recently in California. And Debbie, one of our art villagers, lost her house in the fire. And her life is upside down. But I'm coaching her and saying, hey, my life completely changed when the fire happened. Yes, I lost everything, but it gave new growth. In other words, ashes are really good fertilizer that cause you to, there are certain seeds that will never come above the soil until they're exposed to extreme heat. So in Africa, we would burn on purpose because the ashes were really good. They brought in much better crops. And so when I lost everything in the fire, again, I realized that it was a wake-up call and telling me that life is short and you don't know how long you're going to have everything that you have. And so you need to make the most important things important, which is not things. It's memories and building experiences and taking time for the things that matter, and then turning those into something that will last. And so this year we're actually going to be doing some really cool new things in a new mastermind group where we're going to be teaching people how to create these amazing memories and then relive those as they're drawing those memories, and then taking those memories and leaving them as a legacy and building relationships with the kids that are below them, and so that when they're gone, because my cousin Becky is 50 years younger than me, and I won't be here her whole life. So I want to build these memories with her that will make me live on. And I did that this weekend when last Thanksgiving, I had gone over to their house, and Becky's a teenager, so she wants to be with her friends. I get that. But it still kind of hurts my feelings that when her friends are in the room and I'm in the room, she chooses to talk to them and not me, because of course she does. She's a teenager. But when she was a little girl, she would just run in the room, and I was the first person. I was her best friend. When she was 3 years old, she told me that. And I was so important to her. Hi, Mary Ann. And I was feeling kind of like, that stage of our lives had passed. But that Thanksgiving, none of her friends were there, and we went, she said, come Aunt Sandy, I want you to see my bunny, Alfie. So she ran upstairs, and we spent 2 hours in her room doing this amazing time together, and the light was shining on her golden locks, and I just kept snapping pictures of her and her bunny, and I was savoring every second. And so this Christmas, I ended up that January, after between Christmas and January, I didn't have to work. And so I spent the whole time drawing that picture of Becky with her bunny. I'll post it here when we're finished. And the whole time that I was drawing, for a whole week, I was with Becky. I was with Becky and her bunny, Alfie. And even though she wasn't there, I got to relive that whole entire memory. And when I showed her the drawing, sometimes people like your art and sometimes they don't, and it's okay. It's fun when they like it, and when they don't, it's okay. It's just not their taste. But when she looked at that drawing of her and her bunny, she went, Aunt Sandy, can I have a copy of that? And I was just like, oh, wow. It was special to her too. And it just meant the world to me. So I filed that in my brain mentally. And then this Christmas, what I did was I had that colored pencil drawing blown up on a big canvas, and I gave it to her as a Christmas present. And she went crazy. She was so excited. And within 5 minutes, it was hanging on the wall because it meant so much to her. And like I said, I'm 50 years older than her. So someday down the road, maybe 35 years, she'll be there with her kids, and maybe they'll be grown up by then, and she'll wish that they would come home and spend time with her like they used to when they were little. And she'll look at this drawing of Becky's bunny, and she'll realize, oh, maybe I could find a way to relate to them about, their pet or something like that. And maybe she'll be an artist and she'll turn that moment into a masterpiece. But in any case, I will be there. I'll be there on her wall. And she'll remember me after I'm gone. Because art does that. It leaves a little piece of you behind. If you go to any castle in the UK, I got the privilege of going to Downton Abbey, which is called Highclere Castle, in the Lake no, it's not the Lake District. It's just outside of London. And we had a cocktail party with the Countess and the Earl, the current Countess and Earl of Downton Abbey, or Highclere Castle. And when you go in these castles, you see all these paintings all over the walls. All the ancestors that have lived in that castle are there. And everybody in the family knows those stories, and they know those ancestors. Those people live on through the art. And so you could do that kind of thing too in 2018. You could create these amazing memories that you build with your family and friends, and then I can show you how to turn them into masterpieces so that when you leave them behind, they're not embarrassing. Because you don't want to, leave mediocre work that says bad things about you. You want to leave stuff that's just really impressive and that everybody is just, wow, you had an amazing artist in your family. That is super cool. So anyway, I'm going to be talking more about that kind of stuff. But what I want you to do right now is start preparing for 2018. Because today is the 28th, I think. I think it's the 28th. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You lose track of time when you're in the holidays. And so this is a time for you to sort of sit and be contemplative about what am I going to do? How am I going to live intentionally in 2018? And that's what I use this week for. My assistant Alexandra and I are going to meet tomorrow, and we're going to be talking about what we're going to accomplish in 2018 so that we can stay on track and do the things that we want to do. And so it's really important for us to be mindful about what we're going to do, not just, make a list of resolutions. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to jog every day. I'm going to not eat sugar. All those things that are not going to happen. It lasts 2 weeks and you're done. I'm going to show you how to make your resolutions, and we're not even calling them resolutions, we're just calling them a roadmap, because it's not about January, it's about January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. So in December, we can gather here again and say, yeah, remember last year in December 2017, we sat here together and we made a decision about how 2018 was going to look. And we made it happen. It's so amazing when you live intentionally. And I'm kind of sorry that I didn't start this younger. But the good news is it's never too late. Because, there were years in my life when I could have done things that I can't do now. And I didn't do them. And so I decided I'm going to do the stuff that I can do. I'm going to make it happen in 2018. We're going to do some really crazy, fun, amazing new things in 2018. And I'm going to be showing you a sneak peek inside the pencil drawing college that we're going to create in 2018. We've never done this before, but we're going to have a college where we're actually going to make sure that everybody finishes getting their graphite skills down. Black and white drawing is essential for all forms of color. And it's essential for all forms of art to learn how to draw. And so we're going to get that down in 2018. And we have a college that we're going to launch in January. And we're going to give you sneak peeks because I like to try before I buy. I mean, I don't want to, like if I see a jar of jelly or a cube of cheese or something at Costco and it's like $5.98 or $7.97, I don't buy it because I don't know what it tastes like. I'm not going to try something, waste the money on something that I'm not sure what it's like. But at Costco, they're so smart, they have people giving you samples. And if you like it, you get it. And so that's a really good way to do that. So I decided to do that with Pencil Drawing College. I'm going to give you samples of what's inside that college so that, you can see how you can make 2018 amazing for yourself. And so we're super excited about what we're going to do. And I'm going to be actually drawing for you on camera in future sessions. And since we're in the holiday season, I'm kind of not committing to an exact time of day because I just need that freedom to decide in the morning when I'm going to broadcast. But generally speaking, it'll be, sometime between 9 and 1 p.m. in California time. And I'll post it in the morning so you know what time it's going to be that day. And then in January, when you have to get back to real life, I'll tell you what time it's going to be, and we'll probably keep that time consistent. But I still need to sleep in and, relax with my kitties and let them purr and, do things with family and stuff like that over this holiday season. So I'm not committing to an exact time, but I'm going to be in here drawing with you, showing you how to use different pencils and how to use different papers and how to use different accessories. Tomorrow we're going to show you how to organize a studio. And I'm going to show you my studio so that you can see, what's the best way. I've literally spent, 28 years or, more than that, drawing and testing supplies. I was the editor at Art Materials Today and had my own column in Michael's Arts and Crafts magazine, and I wrote for the Artist magazine and American Artist and Art Materials Today. And it was my job to figure out what works and what doesn't, which pencils works, which papers work, and which ones do they work with, and all that stuff. So I'm going to be giving you some sneak peeks inside of all of that too. So there's going to be a lot of really cool free stuff for the people that want to join us in 2018 or the people that don't, that make a decision not to follow their dream. It's still going to be here, all free, because I want you to see the kind of life that we're going to live in 2018 and see if you want to be a part of it. And we're going to do this. I only do this like once or twice a year. Like we just opened the atelier. Let's see. It was about a month ago we opened up the atelier. It was closed because it was sold out. But we opened it up again to invited a few people in, and now it's closed. It's sold out. So, and we only do that once a year. And then we're doing this. Pencil Drawing College is going to open up once because we're going to launch a brand new thing in 2018. Because you know what? January is kind of I'm not going to say it's a bad month because there's no such thing. But most of you are trapped inside with the snow. And you can't go anywhere because you don't want to slip and slide and you don't want to get in an accident. I remember when I lived in Illinois, I literally got in a car accident every year. And I've had one accident in California in 28 years, and that was when a tourist hit me. That's it. It's just, you don't have to worry about driving out here. But back east and in some of those snowy places, you kind of stay indoors. So you need something to do and something to keep you excited and a reason to get out of bed and, a happy place in your world so that it's not just bleary and cold and dreary and, the lack of sunshine kind of weighs you down in the winter too. So tomorrow, all these will be recorded, so if you can't join us live, that's okay. You can watch them as a recording, and we'll be leaving them up for a couple of weeks. But it's more fun when you're here live. So right now, I just want you to type in, I know Mary Ann's here, and Ann is here, and I saw that Susan is here, and Robert is here, Lori's here. I know a lot of others are here that maybe I don't know about just yet, but I want you to type in 2018. If time were not an issue and you had all the money that you need, what would you do to make your dreams come true in 2018? What kind of art would you pursue? What are your art dreams in 2018? Just disband the whole idea that you don't have the time and you don't have the money, because you can make it come true. You know, when I made that decision about spending 2015 in just doing everything that I've always wanted to do, and ever since then I've lived like that. It was 2018 that just made me, I realized I'd moved into the third chapter of my life, and I went, I need to make everything come true. I don't have that much time left. I mean, even 35 years, which is what I'm planning on, another 35. I need to get busy and make these things happen. So what would it look like to you? You know, what are those dreams? Just type it in right here, and we'll discuss it really quick so that you can kind of start visualizing it, because before something happens, you have to make it happen in your head. And so I had always wanted to go, in 2015, one of the things that I did was I had always wanted to go to New England during the fall, and I wanted to see the fall colors. And so I took my cousin Becky and my cousin Lindsay back to New England, and we had an amazing trip seeing the fall colors. And then we went to Niagara Falls because they wanted to see Niagara Falls too. And it was just epic. And I came up with so many amazing photos that I'm turning into art so that they'll remember that amazing time that we had together. And I can turn those moments into masterpieces too, so I can live in their lives for the rest of their lives. Okay. Oh, okay, so Susan wants to learn how to draw well and how to select colors. Those are really good goals, because you know what, Susan? Those are the two things that hold people back. When you don't know how to draw, your art always looks a little wobbly, and you feel wobbly when you don't know how to draw because you just don't have that confidence. Like right now, if I sit down to draw, I'm not even scared because I know I can do it. I'm really good at drawing. I took time to learn that. And then color is huge too. It's like you stare at all these pencils. Here's pencils on my desk. You stare at all those pencils and you think, which one should I pick up? and you don't know. And so understanding color theory is huge, huge, huge. And so those are really good goals for you, Susan. And they're foundational goals because they could lead to the other types of art that you could create. And let's see, Marianne, let's see if I can read this. I want to grow as much as I can in colored pencil art. Good, Robert. Good, Robert. That's a really good goal. And Marianne wants to be able to draw any animal or person in graphite and start understanding color. And that's going to happen for you, Marianne, because you're in the atelier. And in the atelier this year, we're doing color theory, we're doing drawing exercises, and we're diving into colored pencils. So by the end of the year, you should have an epic understanding of that. So it's good that you joined the atelier so you can make that happen. My dream would be to make some art from my memories and photos. And that's a wonderful dream. And it's such a worthy cause because, you know, that stuff lasts, especially if we develop the British attitude. You know, those are the people we wanted to be emancipated from when the settlers first came over here. And after studying British history, I can see why. Because, I mean, the way that they run it over there, the rich people have all the money and the poor people support them. And it's like there's no middle class. And no reason to have ambition, because if you aren't born into it, you don't get to participate. You have to marry into it or be born into it. So I could see why they wanted to be free. But there's some cool traditions in the British world, and that is this whole idea of leaving a legacy in art. And so we can adopt that. And so that will be a really fun ambition for you this year, Anne. Thanks for posting your ideas and your goals. And everybody who watches this later, hi Teresa, and hi Jenny, hi Elizabeth, Teresa says, I want to learn as much as I can about graphite and then learn to add color. That's a really good way to do it, because if you don't master art in graphite first, then you're going to have a problem when you jump into color, because it's the same strokes for fur in graphite as it is for color, but when you're doing it in graphite, you don't have to think about 11 billion choices. There's only 12 pencils. And so it's much easier to learn how to do those textures when you're working in graphite than it is when you move into colored pencil. And so I always have everyone master all the drawing in graphite. And then we graduate to colored pencil. Because with colored pencil, you're dealing with color theory, you're dealing with different papers, you're dealing with different brands of pencils, and you're dealing with accessories. So you have a lot more to deal with in colored pencil. So we master everything first in the drawing category with graphite, and then when we get that down, then we have this amazing confidence when we move into colored pencil, because now we're not having to think about drawing, because we already know how to draw, and all we have to think about is how to apply the color. Excuse me. Had a little chocolate this morning. Been having a little more dark chocolate than I probably should. You know, it's hard to resist during the holidays. I've been really, really good. But I did indulge yesterday. So anyway, so those are some really exciting goals that you guys have. And anybody who's watching this later and you weren't here with us live, just post your goals, your art goals too, because one of the things that I really want to do in these free programs is address the stuff that you want to accomplish. And I'm going to ask you to post one more thing before we quit today, and that is that I want to hear, what is your toughest thing? Like, what is it that always keeps you stuck in that mediocre category? Like, what is it? For me, when I was mediocre, because I was really bad when I started. I mean, bad. If you think you're bad, you should see my early work. It was pitiful. And I just kept trying reading books and watching videos, and I just wasn't getting better because I wasn't getting any feedback from the master, and I wasn't learning all those tricks that save so much time. And so when I was mediocre, I had strong drawing skills, so I didn't need to work on that. But I really didn't understand color theory, and I really didn't understand what pencils to use, and I really didn't understand the papers to use. I didn't understand the accessories to use. I didn't understand the techniques that would get me to the top. When I framed that, put that beautiful painting of Becky and her bunny on a canvas, it literally looked like it was painted. And I learned that technique from a master. And if in the olden days, I could never put a piece of my drawing on a canvas. It would have looked like a bad drawing on a canvas. But this looked like an oil painting or acrylic painting on a canvas. And so it was just epic what happened when I actually, learned all those techniques, all those secrets from the masters. So my thing that I probably would have posted back when I was really bad is I would have said, I want my work to look like a masterpiece, and when I look at it, it looks like bad art on paper. So how do I get out of that category? Like, how do I get my stuff to look like an oil painting or an acrylic, even if I'm just using pencils? Or I would have said, how do I know what paper to choose? Or I might have said something like, how do I know which pencils to use when I'm looking at a piece of paper? So I want you to talk about, what are you struggling with? Like when you finish a piece of art. When I finished a piece of art, I knew it wasn't good. I had done my best. I'd really tried. I'd read the books. I'd looked at the videos, but it just wasn't working because I wasn't getting feedback. And then when I hired that master, he just went boom, boom, boom like that. And within months, I was fielding lucrative commissions for a very prestigious hospital that was like the Ritz for birthing for wealthy women. They hired me to do 9 pieces. This was right after I was bad. I studied with a master, and here I am doing 9 commissions for a birthing center that's in a wealthy neighborhood that is like going to the Ritz to have your baby. I mean, it was crazy. Just solving those few little problems made a big difference. So if you would just post those up here for me, that would be really helpful. So over the next couple weeks, I can kind of tiptoe into addressing those issues too. So I'm reading here, it says the hardest thing is eyes and fur. Okay. To look real, and how to select colors to fit together. I have to tilt my head to look through the bifocals. I always wondered why people did this. Now I have bifocals and I know. So anyway, yeah, fur and eyes are really tricky, and then choosing which pencils, Marianne, really is important. How to select which colored pencils without using every single one. Yeah, you can end up with mud if you use too many pencils, and so it can be really, really frustrating, you know, because you're sitting there layering color upon color, and all of a sudden it just looks, ugh, and you don't know why, and you don't know how to fix it. So that's a really important thing to learn. Thanks for sharing that with us. That's really helpful. And Marianne, back to what you were saying, if you don't get the eyes right, the portrait's going to look wrong. But if you get the eyes right, people will feel like they know that person or they know that animal when they're looking at the screen. You know, when you have this wonderful, amazing feeling of creating these memories and turning them into masterpieces, and then you get the technique right, people respond to your work. I mean, people have responded to Becky's bunny like you wouldn't believe. Like, literally going gaga over this drawing of a little girl with her bunny, because I had so much passion when I was creating it. And you know, passion really makes a difference, and we show you how to do that in the Art Village. Okay, Teresa says she wants to know what colored pencils to get the color that she wants. Yeah, we'll be covering that in color theory, and you're in the atelier, so you're going to learn all about that, Teresa. We're going to be offering color theory in the atelier this year, and we're going to spend time learning how to choose the right colors so that you can make effective colored pencil drawings. When I was handing the painting to Becky, she looked at it and she just went crazy, and she loved it, and she just was like wild about it. And then she studied it, and she went, you know what? Alfie's nose isn't pink. And I said, yeah, it's not, but doesn't it look better pink? And she says, yeah. And my sweater wasn't blue. I said, yeah, your sweater was beige, but look at this picture, it was dingy. And by using blue, I made your skin tones look bright because they were the complement of her flesh skin tones. And that's why I use those colors. And so when you are a master and you understand color theory, you choose the colors for your masterpieces intentionally. You don't just copy photos. You actually make a decision about what colors you're going to use. And so the piece just, you know, spoke off the paper. And it wasn't until she examined it closely that she realized I had changed things to make them better. And when you understand color, you can do that. If you don't, then you're stuck with what's in the photo. And she was wearing this, you know, it was a little beige top, and it wasn't even her color. It didn't look good on her. And so I dressed her up in blue, because blue is a good color for her, and she has blue eyes, and it complements her skin tones, and it was just the perfect choice. So keep posting all the things that you're struggling with. It really helps me do a better job of doing the free lessons, and also it'll help me do a better job of creating the colleges for you, because I want to make sure that Pencil Drawing College is exactly what you want it to be. So you can help me these 2 weeks. You can help me build that college so that it's exactly what you were needing. Okay? And I love that when I get to participate. Like recently, I was invited to be on an advisory board for a product that I just bought. I can't remember what it was. And I was so excited because there were several things. I loved the product, but there were several things missing. And I really wanted to tell them so they could fix that, because I wanted to buy it. But without these things, it wasn't going to suit my purposes. And so I want your feedback. I want you to help me build that drawing college. I want you to tell me, what do you need? What do you want? What are the things that make you excited about learning and all that kind of stuff? And we're going to go through this 2-week adventure together where we're going to do that. So tomorrow I'm going to be in here. I'm not sure the time because, again, I have a meeting with my assistant tomorrow, and we haven't scheduled whether it's going to be breakfast or lunch or whatever, so I'm going to do the broadcast kind of, on the time that it's not. So I'll do it early if we're not going to do breakfast. If it's going to be breakfast, then I'll do it closer to the early afternoon in California. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you around my studio, and I'm going to show you all these really cool things that we use that I've discovered work really well. And I'm going to show you how to make your studio organized and how to get it to be exactly what you want it to be. And so that's what we're going to do. And I am super excited to spend time with you here today in Sandyland. I almost did a broadcast on Christmas Eve because I was just like, the holidays it brings out all these emotions. Like it makes you realize what matters. It's like, why am I so worried about this or that or the other thing, all these minute details, when what really matters is making memories and turning them into masterpieces. I mean, I took so many pictures at our Christmas time with the family, and I know those are all going to hang on someone's wall someday, because I just love creating the memories first and then turning those moments into masterpieces. And so I remember when we woke up yesterday, I stayed overnight after Christmas Day. Everybody else went home, and I decided to stay because I just needed a little more family time. And I woke up the next morning, and Barbara came out in her Waldorf Astoria robe. I had taken her for a week in New York City when Becky was invited to sing in Carnegie Hall. And we're just like, we have to go. Becky didn't want us there because she was torn, like, how do you be with your friends if your mom and your aunt are there? Like, how do you divide your time? So I totally get it that she didn't want us there. But we decided we're going to go. She'll deal with it in therapy later. Because how often does your daughter or your cousin get invited to sing in Carnegie Hall? So we planned this amazing girl trip, and we stayed at the Waldorf Astoria. They had a ridiculously low rate, and we got upgraded to the penthouse. And we just had this amazing time. I think it was like 6 days, just girl time. Eating chocolate at night, watching movies, going to Central Park in a carriage, going to the 9/11, very sobering exhibit, going and spending a day at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Has the most amazing art. We went down to Chelsea. We just did everything. And we had so much fun. And then, of course, we went to Carnegie Hall and saw Becky sing. And we surprised her. She didn't know we were coming. And so we surprised her. And she was just blown away that we were there. I mean, I knew she had to have someone from her family in the audience if you're singing in Carnegie Hall, for crying out loud. And so we had time with her, which was super fun. And at the end of the whole thing, I wanted to give Barbara a gift because she lives on an alpaca ranch, and she raises 9 children, and she homeschools them. And she also, makes her own bread, grinds her own wheat. She dyes yarn and turns it into beautiful blankets for the grandkids, and she does a lot of work. So she needed something that she could continue to this memory. So at the very end, I had the concierge send a valet up with a Waldorf Astoria robe, and it's the ultimate in luxury. And so when we woke up on the day after Christmas morning, the 26th, she came out in her Waldorf Astoria robe, and she said, "What do you want for breakfast?" And I said, "Well, I usually have an egg and some fruit." And she says, "Well, we've got these bananas, or we've got tangerines." And I said, "Oh, tangerines are my favorite fruit." she has a tree full of tangerines on her property. So she said, should I go get dressed? And I said, no, go in your robe. Let's go out and get some fruit. So we just walked outside with bed hair and her robe and her socks, and we picked fruit and talked about growing up in Africa together, because we both grew up in Africa. She grew up in Kenya and I grew up in Congo. And we used to vacation together in Mombasa, and we talked about going back together. And we talked about the tangerine trees I had in my yard in Congo, and the mango trees and the grapefruit. And we just had this amazing experience together. And I'm going to turn that into a masterpiece. And because all the kids were home, she had a lap full of grandkids. I think it's 6 now. And they all climbed onto her lap at the same time, and I took that picture. That's got to become a masterpiece, because they won't be that young very long. And a grandma loves rewinding that memory, and reliving that, and all this amazing way of creating art. Not just, how do I draw a bowl of fruit? What colors do I use to create a pear? What color should I use for an apple? Yawn, makes me yawn. Boring. In the Art Village, we do things so differently. We create moments, and we teach you how to do that, and then we teach you how to make your paper look like the ideas in your head, so you're not disappointed. So that when you have that amazing experience, your paper looks like that amazing experience, and Becky tears up, and within 5 minutes it's on the wall, because it's such a meaningful experience, not just a piece of art. And in 2018, we're going to do more of that. So stay tuned here. Like I said, I'm not committing to an exact time right here between Christmas and New Year's, because I still want permission to spend time with my family and sleep in if I want to. But in the morning, I will post what time I'm going to be here that day. And then after New Year's is over, I'll tell you the times, because I can get back into that feeling of, okay, we're back in the real world, and I can commit to a certain time. And but we're going to have 2 weeks inside Pencil Drawing College, and we're going to have you help me build that so that it's exactly what you want it to be. And then we're going to get you going in 2018 with getting your drawing skills better, because if your drawing skills are bad, all of your art is going to suffer, all of it. You can't make a good painting without good drawing. I just went to a really cool theater called Sinopolis, and they have leather reclining chairs, and they have servants that bring you gourmet food, and it's just like, it's an amazing, it's very expensive, but it's an amazing experience. And it was really fun to go and just enjoy it. And they had a whole hallway full of artwork. And I thought, wow, this is a good place to display artwork, but what a lousy display. The art was so bad. You could just tell these people had never learned to draw. You could tell they hadn't learned color. You could tell that they hadn't learned texture and how to get the strokes right and stuff like that. And it was just like, oh, I wanted to put a Post-it with my art courses on it. So it's like, you could do this, but let's do it better. Let's do it where you can feel proud of it, and it can be left behind making you look like a master instead of mediocre. And so whenever I see bad art, I want to rescue them. Because they want it too. I mean, we really love it when we look at our work and we just know it's the best we can do, and other people are going to look at it and go, wow, you did that? And that's what Becky did. She just went crazy. She was just like, she kept looking at it, and whenever anyone came into the house after that, she took them over to my colored pencil painting, and she says, look, 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 my aunt did this. It's so amazing. Looks just like me, and looks just like my bunny. And she loves her bunny. And she has this little pen that she feeds him hay. He lives in her bedroom, and she feeds him hay, and she made him a feeder. She made him a little pen, and she's just all excited about this little bunny, and I captured it for her. And so that memory's going to last forever. And so that's what we're going to learn more about here in Pencil Drawing College, but I want your help. So I need for you to post the things that are holding you back, that you look at your work and you know you're stuck in mediocre because you keep making these mistakes. And then I want you to know I want to know what your art dream is, for 2018. What are you going to do to make that come true? Like I said, in 2015, I changed the way I live. I was always living a great life, but I changed it to become intentional in 2015. And now every year, I plan the year and I do what I planned. Even though things happen. Like last year I had a flood and I had to move out for 30 days and it was 3 months to get it repaired, but I didn't change any of my plans. Last year I got sick. I was sick for, I think it was 3 months, and I didn't change anything. I still did all the things that I had committed to do because I made a decision that 2017 was going to look like this, and it did. And I'm super excited that in 2017, in December, I can list all the amazing things that I accomplished and the amazing things that I did in 2017. And it will look like an epic year. Peanut butter, let's come back here and finish your nap. Okay, there you go. Peanut butter likes to hog the camera, and that's okay. We let him in the studio because we love animals. Okay, so tomorrow I'll be back. I'll post in the morning what time I'm going to be here. Not sure if it'll be the morning or early afternoon, one or the other. We've got a meeting tomorrow for our company, so I'll know early tomorrow morning which one it's going to be. And then I will be back in tomorrow to talk some more. And that's why I want you to post what you're struggling with so that we know what kind of demos I should be giving, so that we can help correct all that and give you a sneak peek inside of 2018. Because 2018 is going to be an epic year. 2017 was way beyond what I even planned. It was just like crazy good. I mean, crazy good dreams came true. And this is what's so fun about committing to your dream. Once you make that commitment and you actually spend the time and spend the money that you need in order to make that happen, all this other stuff happens. It's like a snowball effect because success snowballs. Success always snowballs. Things happened to me this year that I hadn't even planned that were on my list of things I wanted to happen. And it was all because I made that commitment. I'm going to spend the time. I'm going to spend the money. I'm going to make this happen because I'm in chapter 3 of my life and I don't have forever. So I really need to make these things happen. It's never too late. Nita Drought started when she was 70 years old and she was drawing stick figures. She's 91 and she still draws 4 to 6 hours a day. She's done more than 500 lifelike portraits. And last year she was invited, when she turned 90, they invited her to this very fancy, prestigious gallery in San Diego County where they only choose 12 masters a year. And they chose her as one of the masters to exhibit for a full month to show 90 of her pieces to celebrate her 90th birthday. And at 70, do you think she would have thought of that when she was drawing stick figures? No way. But there she is. You know, Carol Leather in the UK gave this to herself, gave her apprenticeship to herself as a birthday present. And within 6 months, she was fielding 7 commissions in the $1,000 range. You know, thousands of dollars. She was making thousands of dollars, and she started with 6 stick figures. She just always wanted to draw. And so she gave it to herself as a birthday present, and then she stayed with it and made that commitment. Spend the time, spend the money, make a decision that you're going to stay with this, and I'm going to be in a group of people that will keep my feet to the fire. Because that's where we drop out, you know. My cousin Becky was saying she wanted to sign up for a gym, and her older sister said, I don't think that's a good idea. It's better to take an exercise class because he will make sure that you're there every week. And you'll know you have that commitment. When you sign up for the gym, you go 2 weeks and there it goes. You know, so being in a group of committed people that keep you committed to your dreams so that you make them come true, that's what makes the difference. And you know, most of our life, we are successful not because we choose between good and bad. It's because we choose between good and better. My assistant was feeling sick today, and she was invited to a wedding of someone she doesn't know very well. And I said to her, just don't go. You're sick. Better is to choose health than to choose good, which is going to somebody's wedding. You know, we're always choosing between good and better, almost never between bad and good. It's almost always between good and better. And so the good stuff looks really good, and it makes sense to choose it. But there's something better. There's something better. And once you experience that life, that kind of life, like I did starting in 2015, I started experiencing what it's like when I make the choice to go the better path. It's epic. All these things just start spilling into your life that you always dreamed of and always wanted. And you just like, oh, I can't believe this is all happening. But it's happening because you made a decision. We start with our mind, and that's why today, instead of showing you what pencils to use, I started with your mind, because that's where success starts. If you don't make a decision to do this, then I could teach you all about pencils and papers and you would never get there. Because you have to decide and make a commitment. You need to make a commitment to yourself. I made a commitment to myself in 2015 that I had passed into a new category, a new age category, and I knew I was in chapter 3. And I hope I have 35 years, I'm pretty sure I do, but even 35 years is short. And I got a list of things I want to get done. And on my list was those art dreams. And so I made all that come true. And all these other things happened as a result of choosing the better path. I want that for you in 2018. So tune in tomorrow. I'll be posting early in the morning to tell you what time. And maybe if I even find out today, I'll post what time. It'll always be pinned at the top of Sandyland. And like I said, these are recorded, but it's more fun if you can be here so we can interact with each other and talk to one another. If you're catching this late and you're watching the recording, I want you to post, what is your art dream for 2018 and what's holding you back? What is it that you're struggling with that's keeping you from making that dream come true? I need to know so I can make these 2 weeks of free lessons meaningful to you. And I want to know, because I'm building a pencil drawing college to give people really strong drawing skills. I want to know what you want it to be. Okay? So it's really important for you to give me that feedback so I know how to structure it. Hi, Sandra. So glad to see you here. Getting a bright look with colored pencils without getting clumpy. Yeah, that's the tricky part. And I did that with Becky's bunny. In fact, when I'm done here, I'll post Becky's bunny and the photo that I worked from. So you can see how a master goes way beyond what they see, and they turn moments into masterpieces rather than copying photos. And you're in the atelier, Sandra, so you got that prestigious invitation to join, and you decided to make your dreams come true in 2018. So you're actually going to learn that in the atelier. You can't get in because it's invitation only and it's sold out now. But Sandra's in the atelier, and she's going to learn how to do that, how to make a bright look with colored pencils without getting it clumpy looking. And so we're super excited. I can't wait to teach that to you. It's super, super, super fun. So, okay, well, I've talked long enough today. I'm going to go back to doing the things that you do during the Christmas holidays. For me, I had really lots of fun last night. I've got some more fun scheduled in a couple of days, but right now I need to get to work and start working on the atelier for 2018 and Pencil Drawing College so that I can start 2018 with a bang and help you make those art dreams come true like I have. So remember, whenever you're working on your art, Peanut Butter's sitting on our sign here. Get up a minute, Peanut Butter. Come here, Peanut Butter. I'm disturbing his nap. Okay, So I like to close with this because I believe in this so strongly. Whenever you do artwork, be sure that you go for the gold because it's so much more satisfying to do really high quality work. And you need to realize that you don't have to settle for just learning how to use pencils and just learning how to use paper. You can go way beyond that, and you can think big, and it can happen for you. So remember, in 2018, see if I can get this sun to stop shining on it. There will be miracles. See you tomorrow.